Hey folks, Katzbe here. If you have depression or anxiety, has anyone ever told you to just try yoga? Or have you ever said that to somebody? Today we're going to talk about if there's any truth to that statement and if it's okay to say to people. So the first question we have to answer is, does yoga actually help with depression? And the answer is yes. According to Harvard Health Publishing, yoga helps regulate stress responses, which means that physical stress triggers get reduced. And these are things like making your heart rate lower, lowering your blood pressure, and also making your breathing a little bit easier. Time magazine also reported on the positive health benefits of yoga on mental illness. They cited a study by Boston University which showed that doing yoga specifically lowered symptoms of depression. According to the study, the more yoga you do, the more pronounced this effect is. So, does yoga have a positive impact on mental illness and mental health? Yes, it turns out. So if it is the case that yoga actually does help with mental illness, is it okay to tell someone with a mental illness to just try yoga? Turns out the answer is no, and there are a few reasons for this. The first reason is you're not their doctor or their therapist or any kind of professional helping with their mental illness. Unless you are, in which case, ignore me. In most cases, you're just a friend or an acquaintance, and it's not your place to comment on how to manage somebody else's health. Could you imagine if they came to you with a broken toe and you told them, let me tell you how to fix that? The guidance here is leave any medical advice to the professionals. Second, while yoga helps alleviate symptoms of depression, it doesn't cure it. And it can sound dismissive to tell somebody how to manage their illness. Third, there may be reasons that they're not practicing yoga right now. There are some illnesses, for example, that exercise doesn't help and can make worse. For example, chronic fatigue syndrome. Another reason could be budget. Yoga is not always exactly cheap. People with depression also have trouble keeping plans and going to things. Me personally, I find that my stress is triggered from overcommitting myself and not having enough time to do all the things that I said I would do. So adding another thing to my schedule can make my symptoms worse. That said, I am a practicing yogi, so. Fourth, telling somebody to just try yoga can invalidate that depression is a real medical disease with actual physical causes. Depression has been struggling with a stigma for a really long time that people think it's a choice or that people are faking it or aren't trying hard enough to get over it, when in reality there are medical reasons that depression exists. For example, chemical imbalances in the brain or recovery from trauma. Telling somebody with a real disease that it can be cured with yoga can be harmful and support this idea that has existed for a long time that depression just isn't a real thing. So that brings us to the last part. Is there anything you can say about yoga to somebody with a mental illness? And I think the answer is yes, if you're careful and genuine. If you suffer from a mental illness and you do yoga and you found it helpful, you can offer that information if you are asked and if the time is appropriate. So does yoga help with depression? Actually, it turns out it does. Does that mean you can tell somebody with a mental illness to just try yoga? Probably not, though there are a few tactful ways to do it. Hope this helps. Inhale.